Before John Landis was being charged with manslaughter and making terrible movies, he was actually a really good, promising director. He made a name for himself throughout the 70s and early 80s by directing the incredibly successful comedies The Kentucky Fried Movie, National Lampoon's Animal House, and of course The Blues Brothers. However, for his fifth movie, he wanted to return to a draft that he'd written back in 1969, a comedy horror that financiers were worried about due to it being too frightening to be a comedy but too funny to be a horror movie. But the film was still made and became An American Werewolf in London. The film would be a huge success, making an approximated $60 million and also winning the first ever Oscar for Best Makeup. The film is about two American backpackers, David and Jack, who are backpacking around the moors in Yorkshire. On their trip, they stop at a pub. When Jack asks about a five-pointed star on the wall, all the pub goers go quiet and become hostile. When they try to leave, the landlady tries to insist that they stay. Before they end up leaving, they're told that they need to stay on the road, stay clear of the moors, and beware of the full moon. They start to wander off into the moors despite this. The two start to hear howls and they try to return to the pub. However, they are attacked by a large wolf-like animal which kills Jack. David wakes up 3 weeks later and is told that he was attacked by an escaped lunatic. He insists that he was attacked by a large dog or wolf, but he is told that he doesn't remember what happened properly. He starts to have various nightmares and some pretty surreal and well-made dream sequences. These parts are the best parts of the first half of the movie in my opinion. Jack then appears to David as a reanimated corpse and tells him that they were attacked by a werewolf and that he has to kill himself before the next full moon to free Jack from being in a state of living dead and to prevent himself from killing anyone else or turning them into werewolves either. Of course, he doesn't believe him and then ends up moving in with a nurse who he's fallen in love with. A few days later, a full moon rises and David turns into a werewolf and goes on a killing spree. Then the nurse and the doctor from the hospital try to save him and stop him from turning into a werewolf again before he kills anyone else or is killed by the police. And the last act is them trying to save him while the police go after him. A large majority of the film is a comedy and it's really funny and well written. The characters are charming and entertaining to watch. It's everything you'd really want out of a movie this style. This is then blended together with some really great horror scenes. The special effects and makeup in this film are just absolutely phenomenal. And I'm actually trying not to say that word so much after people complained I was using it way too much. But now I'm only using it when I genuinely mean it, and I do genuinely mean it here. The transformation scene is probably the best scene in the movie because of how incredibly well done it is. It looks fantastic. It's genuinely one of the best special effects scenes I've ever seen. It looks so good. Makeup artist Rick Baker won a much-deserved Oscar for the movie, and he would end up working on countless effect-filled movies including The Howling, The Funhouse, Videodrome, Gremlins 2, The Frighteners, Men in Black, The Ring, and even the classic movies Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps, and of course Norbit. Honestly, those last two are the ones that he should have won an Oscar for. The film is incredibly gory, but luckily the werewolf scenes aren't just a bunch of gore, they're genuinely quite scary also. The film is a serious technical marvel, it's so perfectly made and the makeup and effects really steal the show. The film never ends up feeling overly silly or like a bad B-movie, which it very easily could. It knows when to be funny and when to be serious. It blends the two sides together perfectly and the two styles perfectly contrast each other. The funny scenes are funny and the scary scenes are scary, which is exactly how it should be and something that sadly many of the films of this type kind of miss. If there's one problem I have with the film is that the ending is incredibly abrupt. I don't want to spoil anything, but the ending quite literally just ends. There's no build up to the ending or anything. It's like they couldn't really think of a way to end it and just said, cut, that'll do. It's not a huge film ruining issue, but it's still a little bit annoying. There was a sequel to the movie called An American Werewolf in Paris, which despite owning, I have yet to watch. I think I'll probably end up doing a review of it sometime in the future. guess we'll have to wait and see. There's also a remake in the work that John Landis' son is writing and directing despite his dad telling him not to do it, which to me is just hilarious on several levels. Anyway, back on track. An American Werewolf in London is a hilarious, scary, and incredibly well-made movie. The set pieces are spectacular and features some of the best makeup and special effects ever put on film. No film has come close to making a transformation scene that fantastic. I give the film an 8.5 out of 10.